So to start over, welcome everyone. I appreciate those who showed up, and there's a few online too. I'm Molly Harrington. I'm a social worker at the developmental clinic. My passion, I've worked with a lot of parents, a lot of staff, a lot of teachers over the 20 some years. And my passion has kind of been as I'm working with kids, because I love working with kids, but it's also helping the caretakers, because I see the enormous stresses and what they deal with on a day-to-day basis. And so I've always enjoyed, let's talk about how we take care of others that take care of so many other kids. This is specific to more of having kids with autism, but it can be anything. So today we're going to talk about the stressors, talk about social supports that help sustain you, what community supports are needed, and kind of get a small plan in how you're going to take care of you. So this came directly from parents that I've talked to who have kids with autism. One of the main things that they talk about often is the isolation factor and how isolation can be the silent killer for these families with kids with autism. We have quite a few resources here in Rochester. However, I still hear families over and over and over saying they feel really isolated. Even if they aren't using those words, that's kind of what I hear from them. Because sometimes it feels like they don't know who their connections are or where they can go that they'll be supported. Another parent said sometimes being in public can be challenging, a feeling like you're not meeting social norms, and maybe lack of others understanding what a child may be going through who has autism, and trying to balance the parent's life, the child's life, other children that what they might describe as more neurotypical, trying to go places and make sure everybody is being able to enjoy themselves can be really challenging. Another parent said just the continuous advocating is exhausting. Just feeling like you have to always be ready to advocate for your child. And also finding respite often for the children who are nonverbal, who's getting older, that can be really challenging. And there aren't, you have to be very careful in who you're going to have watch your child. And I hear a lot of parents say, like, I don't trust a bunch of other people, and they don't know my child and the specific things that they need. Also, burning out family members often happens because they really help to manage that.
So there's what they're seeing. One thing.
Yeah. Go ahead. Yeah, use this.
Go away so I can select around you. Mine's that looks like two right there.
Yeah, right there.
There we go.
There we go. Now
Everybody is following the slides that you're talking about.
All right.
Everywhere they're at.
All right. Limited access to programs, supports. Sometimes wait lists can be, as you all know, a long time. Can be certain wait lists are up to a year or two, for example, for ABA. All right. So we're also talking about stress versus burnout. Stress is the addition of and we all know what stress feels like when our cortisol levels are going up and we're just feeling really agitated. It's our demand imbalances. We have too many demands and not enough supports. Burnout is really the depletion and just feeling emotionally, physically, and mentally exhausted. You feel like you have nothing left. And there's a variety of places that you can feel this in: work, home, your relationships. And burnout really just kind of saps your whole being. And at that point, we need to get you help. So, gonna go to this. Now I'm gonna unmute because I'm gonna share a
Okay.
video. All right. So this is a video from Mom on the Spectrum. And I need to see what the time frame was. She is a child or a parent to, I think, 2 kids with autism, and she talks a lot about kind of emotional awareness. So we're going to watch a little clip about that and then watch a little clip about guilt and shame. I'm not muted. Okay, yeah, let's see if they can hear this all. So. Hold on. Yes. Do I need to do speakers? Do I need to turn this off? Is that the other thing?
This is
Oh. You can see. We had it working before. No. So in this clip, she talks a lot about feeling acknowledgement, and we'll see if we can get it to play. If not, in this little section here, I'll talk a little bit about it.
presentation. So right now she's
So if I play it, it's talking, but there's no sound.
okay. And so you did plug this in, and
Do I need to mute myself or no?
no. Well, I'm concerned about the views not. Right. Okay, so now you need to switch what you're hearing. Mhm.
Go to.
Oh, yeah.
Does it-
Okay, and then, oh, hold on for your audio. Okay, you're not muted.
so-
Wait, yeah. Try it again.
Yeah. No.
So that is not working. Hold on. Trying to think. There we go. You need to rewind it or? Video, but it looks like that. Right, the presentation is showing. So,
Let's see here.
oh, let's see.
Can I share this? Share sound. Optimize for video clip. We'll share that. Is it showing now?
Probably, this isn't the Zoom thing, it's this.
Oh,
Two people in this room.
gotcha. I don't think it matters if you really need to see her, as long as we can hear.
Back, your shoulder, anger came
Let's
up,
see.
make a note of it. We don't have to do anything about it right now and be just adding it to your to-do list. For example, the other day I remembered that I just wasn't drinking enough water And part of it was due to the fact that I didn't want to clean out my huge water bottle because there's so many parts. So I just added it to my list, clean out that water bottle. That was one step that I could take in listening to my body's needs.
This is the part
The
about
next thing that I want to mention
feelings.
that is so important is accepting the feelings that you have. I think as a caregiver of kids on the spectrum, it can be really easy to have feelings of anger, of frustration, maybe even of resentment, of longing, wondering what your life would have looked like in a different situation. I want to give you permission to feel those things and to acknowledge them fully. There's all of this emerging science that's showing that we have to fully feel an emotion before it can dislodge. So emotions become kind of stuck in our bodies until they're fully expressed. So if you have these feelings in your body and you've been pushing them down, they're only going to stay there and get stronger until they're allowed to be fully felt and realized. That can be kind of scary because what is it going to look like to fully feel those feelings? Sometimes we don't get to choose when we feel those feelings, right? Sometimes they come up very unexpectedly. But one thing that I have been learning is that emotions, they do have a start and an end. So if you start crying, you're not going to cry forever. You will eventually stop crying, right? So my invitation to you is to embrace those hard feelings. I know it can be really hard to intentionally accept uncomfortable feelings, but I want to remind you that I think the way forward and the way to get through those tough feelings is to actually allow ourselves to experience them. Now, like I said, we don't always get to choose when these emotions come up. Sometimes they come up at really inopportune times. But one way that you can help start the process is by journaling. You might be laughing and thinking, when am I going to have the time to do that? Again, do your best to reframe, how could I implement this? Just a quick few minutes of journaling at the start or end of.
So I like what she's saying. You know, it's basic stuff, but it's really important when you think about as we're going throughout our day and we're having a tough time, do we ever take the time to just stop and acknowledge how we're feeling? I'm really mad right now. I'm really frustrated right now. And it's okay to acknowledge it. It's okay to accept it, because before we can kind of move through it, we need to at least be aware of it and acknowledge it. And then we'll go to 1705. She talks a little bit about shame and guilt. And I think it's pretty powerful.
Flourish and thrive. And that's something that you should be really, really proud of. I want to make sure that you relieve yourself of any guilt or shame associated with having a kid on the spectrum. I know that might be easier said than done, but many of you have said that it has been hard for you to wrap your mind around the fact that you have a kid on the spectrum. There might be some guilt associated with that, a feeling of, did I do this? Am I the one who brought this on them? We can't go down those ways of thinking. An autistic kid is nothing to feel guilt or shame about. They bring so much light and joy into the world, and the fact that you got to be a part of that is a gift in itself. So whenever those feelings of guilt and shame come up, be honest about them. Don't try to stuff them down. Acknowledge that they're there and remind yourself of the beautiful gifts that are associated with this beautiful person that you have brought into the world. Also, I really like that, having that reframe. It's really refreshing to hear. It's natural to feel guilt and shame about a lot of different things, but having this reframe, and this is what I see a lot of parents doing such a fabulous job of, is focusing on the strengths of their child and the things that they gain from having a child with autism. I can see it in the room, in the appointments. I can see it in the interactions. I can see it in the giggles that I hear, the attachment that I hear with parents and kids. And that's really, really pretty special for us providers to see, but also to witness that in the room. How do I get back to, let's go back to the PowerPoint. And this one here.
Change this.
And then how do I get back?
There we go. That should work.
Okay. We got Tiffany. Anybody heard of Tiffany Hammond? Nope. She's on Facebook. She has a blog on Facebook called Fidgets and Fries. This is the woman that I was trying to get to come to our DVP team meeting to talk. She's really a pretty powerful, interesting person. So she is autistic herself, and she has two kids that are autistic. One is nonverbal and one is verbal. And she does a lot of advocating. She does a lot of challenging of systems and whatnot. And she talks a lot about her life. And she recently wrote a book called A Day with No Words. So if you get a chance to read it, it's great. But I just wanted to read you this, her Facebook post from July 23rd. And she's talking about her, I think it's her youngest child who's nonverbal. I think he's 14, 15 or so. And this is where we're thinking about the beauty that these kids bring into the world. She says, I was once told that the most beautiful sound in the world was a child telling their parent they love them. I don't know this sound, but I know his love. My son placed his hand in mine. I brought his fingers to my lips and gave them a kiss. Moments later, he took my hand in his, brought my fingers to his lips and gave them a kiss. His mind and body are often not in sync. A kiss to my son's fingers came easy for me, but a kiss for his mama's took effort. For a body that doesn't do what his mind wants to, that kiss was pure love. 16 years in the making, and it came with no words. She's got some really powerful things on Instagram and everything else. And I just love her advocacy and the way she sees the world and sees her children. So in kind of, I want to kind of open this up, and maybe you can kind of talk to whoever you're next to. What are your stressors that your family experience in relation to autism? And what are your joys that your family experiences in relation to autism? If you don't have an autistic child, you can just talk about stressors in general and joys in general in life. So I'll encourage you to kind of just check in with each other, talk, and then I'll bring you back in a couple minutes here. You have your own time to check in.
But she does that.
Joe, respond.
No, I'm not. I still have a couple videos. The only one that we'll need to actually see is the last one. So I don't know if there's a way to do that. Okay.
To leave presentation mode in PowerPoint to be able to share the Facebook on the projector. That's the problem.
Okay, I don't know what that means in like what I need to do. So let's say,
So
like this one.
So I think we have to do to be able to do it is stop the share. Or no. You're in PowerPoint right here, right?
I think so.
So-
And then sharing PowerPoint.
Right, so you need to end or stop the presentation in PowerPoint.
How do I do this?
I don't know. You don't want to do that, so.
Was there that she had some?
So click on PowerPoint. And
As here.
yeah. Okay, that's the PowerPoint share. Go to the other,
This one.
yeah, go to that one. Okay, so yeah, that one is what's sharing to this projector.
Mhm.
So you end that to be able to show this projector, I believe.
And what? And
So just click that X there. Now, oh, wait, that just completely stopped screen sharing. Okay. Let's share screen again.
okay, let's go to.
So share screen. And,
Share this one.
yeah. Yep.
I just wonder.
I think I made it work, didn't I?
How do I get out of this?
All right, so
one?
that is showing on there now.
Not here.
All right.
How do I get out of it?
So click on that. That makes that just a regular window. You can X that out. Back to that. Now you are sharing appropriately on projector. Be able to view the plan bar.
Are we to what?
That right there should,
This?
yeah.
Midnight?
That's no, that part of.
Right here.
I don't think so. Okay.
Display settings.
Although I just did notice behind that is the end slideshow option and display settings. That would probably let you do it.
I think there's.
There you go. You swap presenter video and.
When do I use that?
So when you're gonna play a video, I think that's what'll do it.
Okay. When I play a video, just somebody be near
Right,
me and
yeah,
I'll
be-
go from
be near
there. Okay. Anybody want to share a stressor that they've experienced or noticed or a joy? And it's fine if you don't. Yes, mother.
I just wanted to share, I was saying to my husband that being a substitute teacher. In the past, I would often walk into a classroom. Some teachers gave very explicit instructions, some left you with nothing. And I didn't go in with preconceived ideas that there were problems. And I mean, I thought I was teaching a gifted class because this teacher did teach a gifted class. And I found out later, no, they weren't in the gifted class, but you know, my attitude towards them, the kids, they did a great job. I think I had a big effect of thinking they're gifted. And to me, all kids are gifted, all people are gifted. Everybody's got something they're gifted with. But I wonder if in school systems, you know, it's interesting because you go in that, oh, this child has a problem. You're just, even if you don't understand totally what autism is, I just don't go that way. And I think many teachers don't do that. They just focus on the child and trying to have a good experience. But we also have a child in our neighborhood, and she just goes for it. When I was introducing, we were getting to know each other, and all of a sudden she busted out sneezing, and she just had to leave. And I thought, oh, did I offend her by laughing a little? But later her mom said, oh no, she just thought she should leave. But she really,
She's about what, 14, 15, she has autism.
She graduated.
Awesome.
And Kim said too, she has beautiful voice. And yeah, so it's very interesting to how you perceive things in
Right.
your mind.
Absolutely. Anybody else?
Great, one of the greatest joys. Son is so expressive of this love. And there's a story where we were on vacation, we were in a store, and he was just chatting with the clerk, and all of a sudden, can I give you a hug? And give her a hug, and she said, just absolutely.
Yeah.
So just those things like that you take for granted.
Yes. And really how powerful that probably was for that store clerk, for that day, for that month. They won't forget that. And so the joys definitely are there. And I think we tend to focus on a lot of fixing things, and at Mayo Clinic, fixing and diagnosing and all this stuff. But really, what is important to the parents, what is important to that child and this family and their experience, that is what matters at the end of the day. So we're going to talk a little bit about, thank you for sharing, self-care. What kind of thoughts come up when you hear self-care? Self-care is kind of a double-edged sword for me. It's awesome in theory. In practice, I think it's a lot more challenging. Sometimes there's problematic messages, like if you're stressed out and depleted, it's because you're not practicing enough self-care. Or if you're not practicing self-care, it's because you're not trying hard enough. Or self-care really only means like bubble baths, naps, and massages, which is great. And it always seems to put the responsibility on the person, not the larger systems. And you get the message, take care of yourself so that you can take care of others. How about taking care of yourself because you deserve it? End of sentence. Yes. And it doesn't consider the unique stressors of your family. So when I think of self-care, I think of what's the bigger context then, and that's community care. And how do we take care of each other? And I love this quote by Audre Lorde. It says, "My friends reminded me, even though it was just a small scale example, that we are nowhere without our village. If self-care seems selfish, which it has for me many times, I go back to its OG intent. Self-care is supposed to coincide with community care." And I think that's crucial. And this can mean anything. There's loads of resources that we have, but there's also, what are the informal supports? The informal check-ins, connections with other parents that you have within the community. Some of the parents stated in terms of what helps them feel supported, friends who understand and help validate. Those who are supportive and advocate for us, especially in public. Agencies, groups who are supportive of neurodiversity. The parent gave the example of the bike rodeo. I think it was EA Therapeutics had it, and all kids were welcome. And being able to socialize with other adults who accept our kids. Acceptance is huge. Acceptance and inclusion is so crucial. And so, I think this is helpful to think about what resources or supports help your family feel supported. What do you have right now that is helpful? And what helps you feel connected and cared for? Anybody willing to say what any resources that they do rely on or that they have found to be helpful within the community or informal supports?
Calling my sister,
Sister? Where does your sister live?
Marilyn.
Maryland.
Yeah.
Okay. It's good that you have that. County caseworker. Yeah, they can be such a lifeline. And they know all the ins and outs of things. We rely on them a lot too. Anybody else? All right, let's move into stress management strategies. So what can we do in the present moment? What can we do to help take care of ourselves just in basic kind of everyday life? So I'm sure you've heard a lot about mindfulness. What's mindfulness? It's basically paying attention in the moment on purpose without judgment. Really, really simple, not easy. Our brains are wired to start jumping around and thinking and being like, then getting frustrated that we're thinking and noticing what we're thinking about and judging ourselves. So it's reeling it back in. I love the 4, 6, 8 breathing, the breathing in for 4 counts, holding for 6, and then the out breath is much longer, 8 counts, 10 counts, whatever you want. The important part is the out breath. That has to be longer. That's where you get the release. And if you're having trouble sleeping, it's a good way to start doing some of this 4, 6, 8 breathing, monitoring your breathing at night. Do at least 10 of those to really get your body to kind of settle. Halt. Tell yourself halt if you're frustrated. Am I hungry? Am I angry? Am I lonely? Am I tired? This can also work with kids too. I'm hungry. Okay, everything stops. We got to get fed. Angry. What do I do about it in the meantime? If I'm lonely, how do I reach out? Or how do I get somebody to reach out to me to check on me? And tired, we need our rest. I love Insight Timer. I use that at night. It's a great app. There's loads of apps, loads and loads and loads. Insight Timer has a lot of free meditation, sleep music, body scans, all sorts of stuff. I've been trying to get my mother to download it, but
What was that?
I'm going to put it on my mom's phone is what I'm saying. It'll be good. It's helpful for anybody. So, all right. Dr. Amit Sood, he used to be at Mayo Clinic, and he did a lot of research on neuroplasticity, neuroscience, the resiliency, gratitude. He's a really interesting, cool guy. I always said that if I had a dad from India, I want it to be him, because I went to one of his talks at Mayo Clinic. It was about 10 years ago, and he just has an incredible way about him. So we're going to practice. He's going to walk us through kind of joyful attention and a gratitude exercise. And hopefully I'll be able to get this to play on here so I can turn around and do it. So give me a little grace here for
Mute.
Should I unmute? Okay.
Let's click on that. So see for the think is it new share to switch what she's sharing?
Or was it that presenter mode thingy? Was it this thing? Swap presenter view and slideshow?
Let's try that. No, so that wasn't it. So undo that if you can. Now it disappeared. Maybe hit escape. Slide control maybe. Or is that just that's in Zoom? No, so never mind. There we go.
There you go. Okay. There we go.
But it's not showing it properly on the Zoom. All right, so
So then do I need to go to
yeah,
share?
new share.
This one?
Yeah.
Share.
And then go ahead and maximize the video. And then can you drag this up? That's where. Yeah. It shows up as a gray bar.
Okay.
So now the audio is not working. Click that. Yep. Click the speaker. There you go. Now it should work.
Okay. Yes.
We get to Dr. Amit Sood, joyful attention. Okay. I practice with you. I love that. Sprinkle it a couple more times throughout the day. Intentional gratitude, joyful attention. It's very simple, but doing it consistently is definitely the challenge.
I think this for audio.
So that's joyful attention. It just kind of settles you, it calms you. It's a great feeling. Boundaries are huge. Boundaries are something that I think we all struggle with at times. How do we say no? Or how do we say, thank you for inviting me, I'm not able to attend, and no reason why. We don't have to justify why we don't do something. Play and humor is super important. I was in one of my past jobs, it was a long day. I was kind of worn out. I was at my desk and I didn't even realize it, but I was eating an apple and I was playing with the Slinky. One of my coworkers walked by and she started laughing and I was like, what? And she's like, just the look. And I was like, this is what I needed. Like my mind was so full that I just couldn't take anything more in. And what's better than taking a break, getting something to eat and playing? Just that Slinky helped a lot, honestly.
She always did that when she was little.
Thank you, Dad. Thank you. I really encourage parents to start a success journal. Could be a little bullet journal, could be writing it on the calendar. When I hear about something that their child did that they're really excited, and I need to check the time frame. Okay, hurry it up here. Write it down. It's really cool to look back. I have one of those 5-year kind of daily journal kind of things. And so something big happens or little, I write it down. And it could be something like 2 words that will cue me and remind me when I'm feeling frustrated and upset and overwhelmed and feeling like, what I'm doing isn't helping, or, if I'm down on myself, I can go back to that and remember, no, I'm making progress, or I've seen progress, or my, looking at what your child is able to do or how they made you feel. Those are powerful interventions too. Check your expectations. Is my expectation, is it too much? Is it too high for myself and for others? Sometimes bringing down our expectations can relieve a lot of that stress. I know for myself, that has been a work in progress. And I think for parents too, they put so much on themselves to do, to handle, to take care of, and knowing your stress thresholds. One thing I like is one little thing that you look forward to each week. For mine, for a while, it was either Project Runway or some murder shows. Yes, that's a little creepy, but for me, it helped me unplug for a bit. Or connecting with your friends or whatever it is, but finding one little thing. And it doesn't have to be big. It can be small. It can be me being able to take my dog outside. And if you knew more about my dog and she's a little bit, got some difficulties. I wanted her to be a rescue or train her to be a therapy dog. That did not happen. It's been the other way, but I've had to adapt. She's taught me a lot about adapting. My expectations of her, I've had to she's terrified to go on walks. I have a dog that's terrified to go on walks. I can't take her out, literally. And so, how I thought about having this dog is very different. And I've just had to accept her where she's at. She's very sweet.
And isn't she adorable?
Well, she's adorable.
She's adorable.
She's adorable. Boundaries, Brene Brown, I love this quote. When we set boundaries with others and ourselves, we are saying that we are important enough to say no, to determine how and with whom we spend our time, and to say what we will or won't accept. Boundaries help us maintain our self-care. And I think that's very true. This is one thing that I want you to be thinking about, so that you can think about going forward. What is one thing you can take off your plate? Instead of adding more, what is one thing you can let go of? So I'd be thinking, even like in your million to-dos or whatever, what is something you don't have to do? And what is one small thing that you can add to your self-care this week? It could be practicing the joyful attention exercise in the morning. It could be, I'm going to step out of work a half an hour early if I'm able to in the next 2 weeks or something. And what is one small way you can connect with another to build community care? because that's truly, truly important. When do you need help? If you're struggling with sleeping, controlling negative thoughts, getting to the point where you're having feelings like life is not worth living, alcohol intake or reckless behaviors are increasing, you need to reach out for help. And where do you do that? Employee assistance programs. They typically provide 3 free therapy sessions. 988 is the new 911 for mental health. So if you're feeling like even just checking in and kind of a mental health check-in, call 988. We also have the CERC in town, Southeastern Regional Crisis Center. It's a great place, 24/7 drop-in. You can call them. They can do a variety of things. It can be a place where you stay for a few days to get stabilized. They can connect you with other resources going forward. Outpatient therapy, how to choose a mental health provider, which is a whole topic in itself. Some online therapy platforms like Talkspace, BetterHelp, MD Live. Again, relaxation apps, or connect with your primary caregiver and talk about, who can I connect with? Can I get a therapist? Who would you recommend? And there's also a lot of family supports. I don't know if any of you are aware of RT Autism Awareness Foundation. They have a great CARES group for parents who have a child who has a new diagnosis of autism. There's also RCC does a monthly support group for parents, and I think it's in October, it's going to be about IEPs. They have different topics, and they do have a sibling group, which is really great. But there's loads of other autism kind of support groups. You got to find what works for you. Some of these can be super helpful, and some that I've seen online, I'm like, not for me. And that's fine. You figure out what's going to work for you. Okay, so this is I love Fitness Marshall. I don't know if anybody has heard of him. He's hilarious, he's fun, he's quirky, he's silly. In the interest of playing, we're going to just, if you are willing to stand up and do a little just movement, great. If you want to just move in your chair, that's great too. So we got a video here.
And we're gonna finish up with this and then one more thing and then we'll be done. Do I go to?
Let's go. All right, call your friends in. This is a community.
And then
Going to the
need to see, can you go out of full screen? You need to for PowerPoint. Let's see.
Yeah, go ahead. Yeah.
Does that one? There, that did work actually.
Okay.
And then is your
right.
audio good again?
All right, do we see it here? I'm actually gonna get up and move and dance and
Love Shack. like this video.
Ah. Yes. Sit down. One more, thing to say. I'm impressed that y'all are getting up and moving. I'm impressed. Fitness, Marshall.
Your speaker's still on.
Yes.
What
He's-
part of Mayo does he work?
He doesn't work for Mayo at all. Let me go to the last, this one. Okay. So I'm gonna read this out loud and then we're gonna read it together and then we'll be done for the day. So I have permission to not fix it, not know the answer, not feel in control, not exceed all the expectations, and still be just what our kids need. All right, let's read it together. I have permission to not fix it, not know the answer, not feel in control, not exceed all the expectations, and still be just what our kids need. Thank you all so much. I really appreciate your time and energy. Do I stop sharing?
Yep, stop sharing.